Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vimoh Live. This is a podcast that gets recorded online at youtube.com/slash Vimoh Live and twitch.tv/slash Vimoh Live. And it's telecast live on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Today is Wednesday, January 11, 2023, and it's 9:31 p.m. There is a slight delay because there was a problem with the video. There is actually still a problem with the video. You might be noticing that it's a little oversaturated. I have not turned on my ring light because of that, because the video is just atrocious. I don't know why this is happening, but it works, so I figure I'll just manage. I had this problem a couple of weeks ago also, but we kind of did the recording with it, and I don't know why it is happening today. I will look into it. Just deal with the slightly saturated video today. In any case, it's a podcast. For those of you who are listening at a later point of time as just audio, this should not be a problem because you're not able to see me anyway. So, hi, you're my special people today. There's a link pinned to the top of the chat with a URL that you can click in order to come live on screen with me and talk to me. This is a show where we discuss atheism, religion, culture, etc. And if you have questions or comments, or you just want to chat or tell me what you have been watching or reading recently, feel free to do so. And before I proceed, let me just take a look at some of the comments. Let me turn off the music first. Yes. Let me take a look at some of the comments. Um, Purvesh is here. Hi, Purvesh. I'm doing fine. Sarmad, hello. Don't forget to run ticker. Thank you, Purvesh, for reminding. I remembered. Sarmad says, I don't know about anyone else, but I love this music. Yeah, I love this also, man. That's why I chose it. Someone was asking a couple of days ago what the name of the music is. Wait, let me just tell you. It's called Unstoppable. I got it from a website with free music for creators. It's called Creator Mix. If you go to creatormix.com, you'll find it free. You can just use it on your channel. Although choose something else. They have a lot of music, and this is the one that I chose. Uh, Kaushal says, "Did you try turning it off and on again?" Yes, sir, I did several times, but I'm still saturated for some reason. I think YouTube is saturated with me. Uh, Puneet says hello. पहले होली बोला फिर हेलो बोला ओके बर्नाली says hello. Meta Galaxy says hello. Puneet says Vimoh the enlightened, Vimoh the saturated, Vimoh Devta. Bernali says, did the world follow the Hindu calendar before the current Georgian one? I think everyone had their different calendars. There are many countries where the older version of the calendars were lunar, like ours. But I suppose there were minor differences here and there. I don't have extensive knowledge about this, but I think that before this calendar, there were many calendars. This calendar is simply the one that the world chose to, like, people came together as a to just say that let's just follow this because it's easier, because the world is now more connected. Let's just follow this one. Rain says, "Isn't it Gregorian we are using now? Is it? I thought I always called it the Julian calendar. Never mind." Dragoon says, "Hello. What do you think RSS chief backing LGBTQ community kind of mixed with this? Glad anyway that the queer community are getting that due." My question is, why the duck does the RSS chief's opinion matter? Who is he? Is he an elected head? Why is everyone talking about Mohan Bhagwat's opinion as if it matters? He never received never won any election. He never received anyone's vote. He's the head of a non-government organization, and that too he only has because of his caste and his religion. There is no reason to think of his opinion as any more important than your opinion or my opinion. He's nobody. Why should we take his opinion seriously? Why should we even talk about it? And it's as if LGBTQ community was waiting with bated breath. अरे अरे सब कुछ तो हो गया बस ये मोहन भागवत जी का अप्रूवल चाहिए हमको. Nobody gives a fuck. Just get over it. Kaushal says everyone still has different calendars. Gregorian is the most commonly used because of colonialism. Yes. अजय says your shirt looks cool in saturated color. नहीं यार शर्ट अगर अंधेरे में बैठता ना शर्ट दिखता ही नहीं इसीलिए लाइट ऑन किया बहुत मुश्किल से अलग शर्ट पहना आज उसके ऊपर लाइट प्रॉब्लम. Everyone had a different calendar. Indian scholars and historians do have to use Hindu calendar in their field of work. Uh, Barnali says, is really even being created out of Adam's rib and Karna being created out of Kunti's ears are examples of ancient stem cell technology? No. It will be stem cell technology when we are told how the stem cell technology works. And there is no description. People coming out of ears and other bodily orifices is common in across world cultures. People tell stories about all sorts of things. There is a story about the birth of. I know Mahesh is waiting. Mahesh, just give me 1 minute. Let me finish this chain of thought. There is a story in the uh, associated text with the Ramayana, which says that Bali and Sugriv are called Bali and Sugriv because Bali was born from the hair and Sugriv was born from the shoulder. ये सब हर जगह लिखा हुआ है, इसमें कोई टेक्नोलॉजी का मेंशन नहीं है, अनलेस यू फाइंड एन एंशिएंट टेक्स्ट वेयर इट सेज दिस इज हाउ वी डिड इट एंड इट इज एन एक्चुअल प्रोसेस दैट वर्क्स. इट्स नॉट टेक्नोलॉजी, इट्स जस्ट रैंडम स्टोरी टेलिंग. महेश, हेलो महेश, हाय महेश. महेश को स्क्रीन पे ले लिया गया है. व्हाट्स अप?
हेलो। हेलो।
हेलो.
आवाज आ रही है?
आवाज आ रही है, बताओ क्या चल रहा है.
चल तो सही रहा है। हाँ,
ओके.
अब मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि लॉजिक क्या है? हाउ डू वी डिफाइन लॉजिक?
तुमको डिक्शनरी डेफिनेशन चाहिए?
डिक्शनरी नहीं, वो
फिर
डेफिनेशन जो मोर सेंस बनाए।
तो डिक्शनरी डेफिनेशन वैसे भी आप यूजफुल इतना नहीं होता बिकॉज इट ओनली गिव्स यू यूजेज. बट
हम्म,
लॉजिक इज certain observed properties of the universe that we have noticed and उन methods के हिसाब से यूनिवर्स चलता है.
फॉर एग्जांपल।
For example, there are the laws of logic, right? The three laws of logic. A thing is a thing. Is that what you're asking?
आई डोंट नो अबाउट इट।
Okay, so you should look up laws of logic and get yourself a couple of books on logic, deductive logic, inductive logic. उससे लॉजिक के लॉज तो समझ में आ ही जाएंगे.
थोड़ा बेसिक समझा दो तो अभी।
अरे सर, मैं लॉजिक का प्रोफेसर नहीं हूँ.
चलो ठीक है। हाँ, मेरा एक और क्वेश्चन था, मैं याद करता हूँ। हाँ।
हम्म.
हम्म,
तुम यहाँ स्क्रीन पे आके क्वेश्चंस याद मत करो, लिख लिया करो.
अरे
बिकॉज आई कांट टेक अ ब्रेक फ्रॉम टॉकिंग, इट्स अ लाइव स्ट्रीम, यू रियलाइज.
ओके सॉरी, पर नेक्स्ट टाइम से ध्यान
मैं
दूंगा,
एक काम
लेकिन
करता
अभी
हूँ,
याद।
तुमको अगर याद नहीं आ रहा है मैं तुमको नीचे कर लेता हूँ, जब याद आएगा तो वापस ले लूंगा. नेक्स्ट
यस।
कॉलर को ले लेता हूँ, तुमको इसके
यस।
बाद वापस फिर से ले लूंगा, ठीक है.
यस।
चलो. दैट वाज महेश. द नेक्स्ट कॉलर इज रोनी बॉय. हाय रोनी बॉय. बैटमैन और फ्लैश? रोनी, you're on screen, रोनी.
Hello, Vimoh.
हेलो.
So, I have two questions. First one is, I don't know इसके बारे में आपसे पूछना सही है कि नहीं, बट आपको
हम्म.
नॉलेज होगा कि नहीं. मैंने मतलब ऋग्वेदा के बारे में मैंने एक चीज सुनी है कि वेदास और पुराण के बारे में बेसिकली कि जो वेदास और पुराणास है उन
हम्म.
दोनों के बीच में कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस है.
हम्म.
मैंने कहीं ऐसा पढ़ा था कि जो ऋग्वेद है
हम्म.
उनमें अ, विष्णु भगवान को जो है थोड़ा कम सुपीरियर बताया गया है, उसमें इंद्र के बारे में सबसे ज्यादा हाइंस है.
हम्म.
तो आपको इसके बारे में कोई नॉलेज है
हाँ सर.
कि मतलब.
नॉलेज मतलब एक्सटेंसिव. मैं तो वेदज्ञ नहीं हूँ और मुझे इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं है. पर ये सच है कि जो अर्ली वैदिक टाइम्स था, वहाँ पे देवताओं का जो ऑर्डर था वो बहुत अलग था. सबसे प्राइमरी देवता थे इंद्र, वरुण, अग्नि और शायद वायु या मरुत भी. और ये लोग एलिमेंटल गॉड्स थे. मतलब इनका रिश्ता ब्रह्मांड के साथ नहीं था. इनका रिश्ता किसी क्वालिटी के साथ नहीं था, जैसे सरस्वती और गणेश का क्वालिटीज के साथ है. इनका रिश्ता सिर्फ नेचुरल फोर्सेस के साथ था. इंद्र वॉज द गॉड ऑफ storms and sky and thunder, I suppose, and Vayu was the wind and Varun was the sea, ocean, etc. So ये सच है कि पुरान अर्ली वैदिक टेक्स्ट में विष्णु was a relatively minor deity and Indra etc were primary.
सो ओके.
अच्छा, कोई बच्चा शोर मचा रहा है बैकग्राउंड में शायद. हाँ. मैं रोनी, आप म्यूट पे हैं. हाँ, बोलिए.
सो अनदर वन मतलब एक और जो है मेरा एक डाउट था इसी से रिलेटेड कि
हम्म.
लाइक ऋग्वेद के हिसाब से मोस्टली जो ये नॉलेज था शायद ऋग्वेद से रिलेटेड था. तो ये क्वेश्चन मेरा, तो क्या इंद्र ने उस हिसाब से दुनिया बनाई है या फिर क्रिएटर कोई और है ऋग्वेद में? क्योंकि मैंने पढ़ा तो नहीं है, बस सुना ही है मैंने.
मुझे नहीं लगता इंद्र को ऋग्वेद में क्रिएटर बताया गया है. नहीं.
ओके. सो सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज, मैं एक यूट्यूब क्रिएटर का वीडियो देख रहा था,
हम्म.
नाम मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा. शायद हैरिस करके कुछ था।
हम्म।
अगर आपने देखा होगा तो उनका एक वीडियो देख रहा था मैं, जिसमें वो, मुझे उनकी नेशनलिटी नहीं पता, बट उस उनके वीडियो में वो यूएस गवर्नमेंट को एक्सपोज कर रहे थे, ऐसा ही कुछ वीडियो
हम्म।
था।
हम्म।
तो मैंने मतलब एक चीज नोटिस किया कि उसके अंदर जो यूएस के सिटीजन्स थे, मोस्टली अमेरिकन या फिर यूएस आप बोल लो, तो
हम्म।
उसके अंदर वो उनको काफी अप्रिशिएट कर रहे थे, क्योंकि
हम्म।
वो सब ऐसा मतलब जो भी काफी अच्छी जर्नलिज्म वो करते थे, या ग्राउंड ग्राउंड लेवल रिपोर्टिंग वगैरह सब वो देख करके, और मैं वीडियो
हम्म।
देख के भी लगा था उनकी रिसर्च काफी सॉलिड है। तो लाइक
हम्म।
मैं यही सेम चीज में सिनेरियो इंडिया के बारे में बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि अगर इंडिया में यही कोई सेम चीज करे, क्योंकि आज के टाइम में तो गवर्नमेंट को क्रिटिसाइज करना भी काफी
हम्म।
मुश्किल हो जाता है। तो
हम्म।
लाइक आप आपके व्यूज जानना चाहता हूँ कि अगर इंडिया में ऐसा कोई करता है, तो मतलब पब्लिक का क्या रिएक्शन होगा और आपका क्या रिएक्शन होगा?
इंडिया में कोई क्या करता है?
ऐसे ही मतलब कोई अगर पावर में रह रही पार्टी को एक्सपोज करे, या फिर जो भी उनके ऊपर एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव क्रिटिसिज्म
हैं, ऐसे
क्रिटिसिज्म
बहुत लोग हैं इंडियन यूट्यूब में, ऐसे बहुत सारे पत्रकार हैं जो ये काम रेगुलरली करते हैं।
लाइक मैंने देखा है कि कोई आजकल थोड़ा भी करता है तो उनको पब्लिक बैश कर देती है।
पब्लिक तो बैश करेगी क्योंकि पब्लिक ब्रेन वॉश्ड है और पब्लिक को अधिकार भी है किसी को अपोज। लिसन, ऑन एन आइडिया लेवल अगर कोई सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज करता है और किसी और को उस क्रिटिसिज्म से प्रॉब्लम है, तो उसको पूरा हक है ये बोलने का कि तुमको क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करना चाहिए। प्रॉब्लम तब आती है जब सरकारी मशीनरी का इस्तेमाल करके किसी को सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज करने से रोका जाता है या सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज करने की वजह से पनिश किया जाता है। लोगों को पूरा हक है एक दूसरे से डिसएग्री करने का, एक दूसरे को बताने का कि तुम्हें ये नहीं करना चाहिए, तुम्हें वो नहीं करना चाहिए। मैं तुम्हें कह सकता हूँ कि तुम सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज़ मत करो और तुम मुझे कह सकते हो कि तुम्हें सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज़ करने का पूरा अधिकार है। दैट्स जस्ट डेमोक्रेसी, दैट्स डिस्कोर्स, दैट्स कॉमन कन्वर्सेशन। पर जब सरकार इसमें इन्वॉल्व्ड होती है, जब लोग कानून और सरकारी सिस्टम्स का इस्तेमाल करके किसी की आवाज़ को दबाने या बंद करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो वो होता है प्रॉब्लमैटिक। और वो भी होता है भारत में, वो काफ़ी हो रहा है। इनफैक्ट हमारा डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स में, प्रेस फ्रीडम इंडेक्स में हमारी जो पोज़ीशन है, वो पिछले कुछ सालों में नीचे गई है एंड आई थिंक दिस इज़ अ वेरी अलार्मिंग थिंग, जो कि भारत की रेपुटेशन के लिए बिल्कुल भी अच्छी नहीं है। तो जो लोग भी ये कहते हैं कि हमें सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज़ नहीं करना चाहिए, वो एक ऐसी सिचुएशन को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे इंटरनेशनली हमारी बहुत भारी बेइज्जती हो जाएगी। तो आई होप मोर पीपल अंडरस्टैंड दिस। बट जहाँ तक तुम्हारे इस सवाल का सवाल है कि सवाल का सवाल है, जहाँ तक तुम्हारे इस सवाल का सवाल है कि भारत में लोग सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज़ करते हैं, नहीं करते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो करते हैं, पत्रकार हैं जो करते हैं। उनका ये करना पिछले 2014 से पहले जितना आसान था, उतना आसान अब नहीं है। पर लोग फिर भी कर रहे हैं। कई लोग अपनी लाइफ़ को, अपनी सेफ्टी और फ्रीडम को डेंजर में डाल के ये काम कर रहे हैं। बहुत से पत्रकार हैं, अगर आप यूट्यूब में देखोगे, हिंदी यूट्यूब स्पेसिफिकली, रीजनल लैंग्वेजेज़ का मुझे पता नहीं, पर कई पत्रकार हैं जो ऐसा कर रहे हैं ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस।
सो one more question I have is about spirituality.
हुँ।
So I've seen a thumbnail of your one of your old videos. So
हुँ।
उसमें आपने आपकी जर्नी के बारे में शायद कुछ बताया था कि आप कैसे
हुँ।
एक राइट विंग में थे, या फिर आप और एक और शायद अलग वीडियो था वो, बाकी उसके अंदर आपने बताया था कि कैसे आप स्पिरिचुअलिटी से होते हुए भी एथिज्म तक पहुंचे थे।
हुँ।
तो मेरे साथ ऐसा कुछ इतना नहीं हुआ था एथिज्म क्योंकि मैं भी एक एथिस्ट हूँ, तो इतना कुछ तो
हुँ।
नहीं हुआ था। बट मैंने ऐसे देखे हैं कि आजकल स्पिरिचुअलिटी सम काइंड ऑफ कूल चीज बन गई है लोगों के लिए। तो
हुँ।
और मुझे ऐसा लगता भी है कि लाइक मैंने उनके व्यूज पढ़े, तो मतलब व्यूज पढ़े और देखा भी है, मैंने कुछ लोगों से मिला भी जो रियल लाइफ में फिर अपने आप को बताते, बट उनमें मैंने एक चीज देखी कि वो मुझे ज्यादा कोई डिफरेंस नहीं दिखा रिलीजियस और स्पिरिचुअल होने में। और स्पिरिचुअल
हुँ।
एक्चुअली मुझे और ज्यादा मतलब वो लगा कि ये तो और ज्यादा सुपरस्टिशियस चीजों में मानते हैं।
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ। तो
मुझे मतलब
क्वेश्चन क्या है?
मेरा मतलब क्वेश्चन ये है कि ऊपर-ऊपर से मतलब मैंने देखा है, तो ये मतलब इनके बिलीफ्स के बारे में आप कुछ बता सकते हैं कि क्या ये लोग बिलीव करते हैं और इनसे मैं कैसे डील करूँ?
बिलीव
लाइक
दोनों
मैं
के
अपने आप
सेम। हाँ।
मतलब मुझे मुझे रिलीजियस और स्पिरिचुअल लोगों के बिलीव्स ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही लगते हैं। तो मतलब
हाँ।
मैं इनसे ऐसे कुछ लोगों से मिला और मैं मतलब रेडी रहना चाहता हूँ काइंड ऑफ, क्योंकि मेरा एनकाउंटर
नहीं, तुम्हें
होता
सही
रहता है।
लगा। तुम्हें सही लगा, उनके बिलीव्स काफ़ी सिमिलर हैं। इनफैक्ट कई मायनों में देखने जाएँ तो सेम ही हैं। पर लोग अपने आप को स्पिरिचुअल कहना इसलिए पसंद करते हैं क्योंकि रिलीजन असल में मर चुका है। ऑर्गेनाइज़्ड रिलीजन जो मतलब ऑर्गेनाइज़्ड धर्म का जो सिस्टम है, उसको मरे हुए शताब्दियाँ बीत चुकी हैं। उसमें कोई मेरिट नहीं है और सबको पता है कि कोई मेरिट नहीं है। इसीलिए जिन लोगों में थोड़ी शर्म बाकी है, वो लोग रिलीजन को छोड़ देते हैं। कहते हैं नहीं मैं धार्मिक नहीं हूँ। पर धार्मिक होने के जो जितने सिंबल्स होते हैं, उन्हें छोड़ नहीं पाते क्योंकि बचपन में उनके ब्रेन वॉशिंग की जा चुकी होती है। इसीलिए वो उन्हीं सिंबल्स को पकड़ने का एक नया तरीका निकालते हैं जिसको कहते हैं स्पिरिचुअलिटी। कि नहीं मैं ये पूजा पाठ में विश्वास नहीं करता, ये अंधविश्वासों में विश्वास नहीं करता, पर कुछ तो है। सो स्पिरिचुअल लोग बेसिकली इस बात का फ़ायदा उठा के निकल लेते हैं कि स्पिरिचुअलिटी का कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है। कोई यूनिफाइड यूनाइटेड डेफिनेशन नहीं है। हर तुम 2 लोगों को पूछो ना स्पिरिचुअलिटी का मतलब क्या है? वो 2 अलग-अलग डेफिनेशन बताएँगे। सो वही है प्रॉब्लम। तो एंड यू आर कंप्लीटली राइट, देयर इज़ नो डिफरेंस। अगर तुम किसी स्पिरिचुअल व्यक्ति से बात कर रहे हो या किसी रिलीजियस व्यक्ति से बात कर रहे हो, तो बात को शुरू करने का एक अच्छा तरीका है उनसे क्लियर कर लो कि तुम किस चीज़ में विश्वास करते हो? तुम क्या मानते हो? और वहाँ से शुरू कर सकते हो।
लाइक आप कुछ आर्गुमेंट्स या कुछ ऐसा कुछ बताएँगे जिससे मतलब मैं उनके आगे कोप अप कर पाऊँ? अ,
वो तो इस पे डिपेंड करता है ना कि वो क्या मानते हैं। मैं हमेशा ये चीज़ कहता हूँ कई लोगों को कि कोई भी वन साइज़ फिट्स ऑल सॉल्यूशन नहीं होता है आर्गुमेंट के मामले में। अभी अगर तुम मैदान में तलवार लेके उतरे और सामने वाला लेके आ गया है धनुष बाण, तो तलवार किसी काम की नहीं रहेगी क्योंकि वो दूर से तीर मार देगा। और अगर तुम मैदान में गए धनुष बाण लेके और सामने वाला एक टैंक में बैठ के आया, तो भी तुमको कुछ फ़ायदा नहीं होगा। सो तुम्हें तुम्हें कौन-सा हथियार इस्तेमाल करना है, ये तुम्हें वो देखकर डिसाइड करना होगा कि तुम्हारे सामने वाला क्या लेके आ रहा है। अगर सामने तुम कहोगे, मैं अंधविश्वासों को अपोज़ करता हूँ और सामने वाला बोलेगा, मैं भी अंधविश्वासों को अपोज़ करता हूँ, पर मैं भगवान को मानता हूँ। तो तुम्हारा अंधविश्वासों को लेके जो आर्गुमेंट है, वो बेकार हो गया। क्योंकि तुम एक ऐसा वेपन लेके गए मैदान में जिसकी जिसकी ज़रूरत ही नहीं थी, क्योंकि तुम जिस चीज़ को काउंटर करने जा रहे थे, उसको वो बोल रहा है कि वो मानता ही नहीं था। सो तुम्हें हमेशा सुनना चाहिए कि लोग क्या कह रहे हैं और उसके बाद वहाँ से बातचीत को आगे लेना चाहिए। अगर तुम मेथोडोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हो ना, देयर इज़ अ वेरी नाइस बुक कॉल्ड मैनुअल कहाँ गया? I forgot where I kept it, but it's called A Manual for Creating Atheists. It's a bad name, but the book is quite nice. ये आपको बताती है कि आप किसी से बात जब करेंगे, तो आपका अप्रोच कैसा होना चाहिए, आप कैसे उनकी बातों को सुन के रिस्पॉन्ड करें वगैरह, वगैरह। पीटर बोगोसियन ने लिखी है और बुक का नाम है अ मैनुअल फॉर क्रिएटिंग एथियस्ट्स। ऑल्टरनेटिवली
ओके,
एक यूट्यूब
आई
चैनल है एक यूट्यूब चैनल है जिसका
आई
नाम है
रीड इट। ओके,
स्ट्रीट एपिस्टेमोलॉजी। उसको भी सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हो। उसमें एक जो व्यक्ति हैं एंथनी मैग्नबॉस्को, वो क्या करते हैं ना, वो सड़क पे लोगों से मिलते हैं और बोलते हैं, "मैं आपसे 5 मिनट तक बात कर सकता हूँ?" और फिर वो बात करते हैं। उनकी बातचीत करने के ढंग से बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हो क्योंकि ही इज़ नॉट अग्रेसिव। वो किसी पे
हुँ,
चिल्लाते नहीं हैं। वो लोगों की बातें सुनते हैं और फिर उनसे सवाल पूछते हैं और उसी माध्यम से वो अच्छी तरह से बातचीत कर पाते हैं। सो दैट्स अ गुड मेथड, स्ट्रीट एपिस्टेमोलॉजी।
लाइक अभी मैं मतलब आपको अगर मैं आगे बताना चाहूँ कि मैं जैसे कभी भी स्पिरिचुअल लोगों से मेरा एनकाउंटर तो लाइक वो सबसे जो घिसी-पिटी चीज़ वो मुझे बताते हैं, वो स्टार्टिंग में वो कर्मा के बारे में मुझे बताएँगे और रीबर्थ के बारे में बताएँगे।
हाँ।
और मेरा सवाल उनसे आपका वीडियो मैंने देखा था उसके ऊपर, तो मैं उनसे वही सवाल हर बार पूछता हूँ कि डू यू नो पीपल हू सफर्ड मोर देन दे शुड? और
हुँ,
डू यू नो द पीपल हू शुड सफर बट दे डिडन्ट सफर एट
हुँ,
ऑल? आपका ही मैं
हुँ।
पूरा एक लाइन छाप के उनको बोल देता हूँ, याद कर
हाँ,
लिया मैंने ये वाला। और
फिर
वो
क्या
बोलते
होता है?
कि नहीं, 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 इसमें और भी बहुत कुछ है, ये वो बट इसका
हाँ,
जवाब
तो
नहीं
पूछो
देते
ना
बस वो।
तो पूछो ना, बताओ क्या है? लेट्स टॉक। डोंट लेट पीपल लाइक मैं ये नहीं कहूँगा कि लोग अगर तुमसे बात ना करना चाहें तो उन उन घुसे चले जाओ, बिकॉज़ दैट्स इम्पोलाइट। बट अगर लोग इस
नहीं, वो
सवाल का
हमेशा
जवाब नहीं
मतलब
देते हैं।
वो उस
हाँ,
उस चीज़ को पलट के मतलब कुछ और बोले, नहीं, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, उसमें और भी बहुत कुछ चीज़ें ऐसा बोलते हैं वो, लेकिन बताते नहीं है और मेरा
हाँ, तो
सवाल हमेशा एक ही
तुम्हारा
होता है
जवाब
बस।
वही होना चाहिए कि मैं यहीं पे हूँ, अगर आप बताना चाहें कि और क्या-क्या होता है तो मुझे बता दीजिए। पर मुझे
लाइक
लगता है कि ये जो तुमने जो बात कही
हाँ, हाँ।
उसको काउंटर करने के लिए अगर वो निकल लेते हैं कुछ एम्बिगुअस सा बोल के, तो तुमको ये पॉइंट आउट करना चाहिए कि आप अब साफ-साफ बता नहीं रहे हैं। उसके बाद उनके ऊपर चढ़ो मत। अगर कोई बात नहीं करना चाहे तो उससे बात मत करो। पर अगर कोई बात करना चाहे तो उनसे सवाल हमेशा पूछो।
मैं मतलब अभी जस्ट 2 या 3 डेज़ अगो मेरा उन मतलब एक से बात हो रही थी, तो वो मुझे रीबर्थ के कर्मा के और रीबर्थ के बारे में बता रहे थे। तो कैसे वो बता रहे थे कि सोल सेम रहता है और बॉडी चेंज होती रहती है। तो मैंने उनसे ये कहा कि फिर उस हिसाब से तो लिमिटेड होनी चाहिए ना वर्ल्ड की पॉपुलेशन एक ही जगह, तो
हुँ, हुँ,
पॉपुलेशन कंटीन्यूअसली बढ़ती क्यों रहती है? लाइक
हुँ,
उस टाइम पे अगर ये जब जब ये सब चीज़ें आई थी, तब कुछ 25-20 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन होगी, तो बाकी
हुँ,
के जो 700-800 करोड़ लोग हो गए, वो कहाँ से आ गए?
हुँ,
तो उस चीज़ का भी उन्होंने जवाब नहीं दिया। तो
हुँ।
मतलब ये क्वेश्चन मेरा आपसे भी है कि ये आर्गुमेंट मेरा सही था कि
सही था, बिल्कुल सही था। पर इसके जवाब कोई दे सकता है, कोई कह सकता है मतलब जैसे हिंदुओं में ये मान्यता है कि कुछ हिंदुओं में ये मान्यता है कि इंसान पुनर्जन्म एक कछुए के रूप में ले सकता है, खरगोश के रूप में ले सकता है, गाय, कुत्ते के रूप में ले सकता है। सो हो सकता है उनकी आत्माएँ वहाँ चली गई थी और इसीलिए मतलब इंसानों की जनसंख्या बढ़ रही है। कई अ, जानवर अ, अपग्रेड होके इंसान के रूप में पैदा हो रहे हैं। हो सकता है कोई ये जवाब दे दे।
हाँ, मतलब ये भी आपने एक नया चीज़ बताया।
पर इसमें एक पॉइंट ही है तो जैसे कार्ल सेगन ने कहा था ना, कार्ल सेगन या किसी ने कहा था, एनीथिंग दैट इज़ प्रपोज्ड विदाउट एविडेंस कैन बी रिजेक्टेड विदाउट एविडेंस। अगर कोई कोरी कल्पना सुना रहा है, फैंटेसी स्टोरी बना के सुना रहा है और उसके साथ कोई एविडेंस नहीं है, तो उसको ध्यान उसकी बात सुनने की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है। उसको बोलो मैं क्यों सुनूँ यार तुम्हारी बकवास? इसके पीछे क्या एविडेंस है? कहीं लिखा हुआ है, ये थोड़ी एविडेंस होता है।
और अभी एक और चीज़ मैं आपसे पूछना था कि अभी एक नया
रॉनी
वो ट्रेंड चला है।
ये तुम्हारा लास्ट पॉइंट हाँ?
ओके, ओके।
हाँ।
सो अभी एक नया सा ट्रेंड सा चला है कि मिथोलॉजी को भी हिस्ट्री कंसीडर करना चाहिए। ये चीज़
हुँ,
मतलब अभी तो इंडिया में ही मिलेगी,
हुँ।
क्योंकि इंडिया के लोग अभी
कई
भी
है
उसको पकड़ के बैठे हैं।
इंडिया के बाहर भी है इंडिया के बाहर भी है। कई ऐसी इस्लामिक मिथोलॉजिकल स्टोरीज़ है जिनको लोग लिटरल ट्रूथ मान के चल रहे हैं। ऐसा इस्लामिक स्कॉलर्स के बीच में भी काफ़ी है कि वो लोग इवोल्यूशन को डिनाई कर देते हैं क्योंकि वो कुरान के नैरेटिव को मैच नहीं करती। सो
हाँ, हाँ,
मिथोलॉजी के
बट लाइक मेरा ये व्यू है कि
क्रिश्चियंस भी करते हैं।
हाँ,
पूरा
हाँ।
इंटेलिजेंट डिज़ाइन का ढकोसला चल रहा है पूरा का पूरा इवोल्यूशन को डिनाई करने का।
हाँ,
सो
हाँ।
ये हर धर्म, हर देश में हो रहा है ये।
लेकिन मेरा मतलब ये मेरा आप मतलब आप शायद एग्री ना करें, बट मेरा ये यही व्यू है कि मतलब ऐसा कंसीडरिंग मिथोलॉजी, और शायद ये इंडिया में अभी मतलब ज़्यादा इसने मतलब ऐसा तूफान सा पकड़ रखा है अभी के जैसे कि देवदत्त पटनायक जो वो मिथोलॉजी वर्ड कभी भी यूज़ करते हैं अपने इंटरव्यू में,
हुँ,
देखा तो उनको बैश मिलता है नीचे कि नॉट मिथोलॉजी, इट्स आवर हिस्ट्री। और
हुँ।
एक या मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था कि मैं पहले सबसे पहले यही पूछना चाहता था, पर मैं भूल गया था तब। अ, वो मैंने एक आर्टिकल सा और मुझे किसी ने भेजा था कि वो द्वारका जो है वो द्वारका
हुँ,
जो श्री कृष्ण की एक सिटी थी,
हुँ,
वो पानी के नीचे डूबी हुई मिल गई। तो मैंने उसके ऊपर साइंस जर्नी का भी वीडियो देखा था, लेकिन
हुँ,
मतलब मुझे उन पे इतना विश्वास तो नहीं है
हुँ,
साइंस जर्नी पे, बट उन्होंने उसमें उसको डिबंक किया था और काफ़ी अच्छे से किया था शायद,
हुँ।
मैंने देखा भी था। तो आपको उसके ऊपर कुछ नॉलेज है कि द्वारका सच्ची में क्या डूबी हुई मिल गई नीचे? क्योंकि उसमें उन्होंने बताया था कि वो कुछ और था और उसको अलग-अलग इमेजेस को चिपका के वो आर्टिकल फेक था। ऐसा
ऑनेस्टली
साइंस जर्नी ने बताया।
मुझे पता
साइंस
नहीं
जर्नी ने
है।
अपने वीडियो में बताया था।
ऑनेस्टली मुझे पता नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने भी ये वीडियोज़ तब देखे थे जब मैं खुद इनको मानता था और मुझे पता नहीं है इसके बाद उसके ऊपर क्या रिसर्च हुई है। मुझे पता नहीं कि अगर वहाँ पे पूरा का पूरा शहर भी अंडर वाटर मिल जाता है, तो उससे क्या साबित होगा? उससे यही साबित होगा कि एक शहर मिला है। ये कैसे साबित होगा कि ये शहर वही शहर है जिसका वर्णन पुराणों में है? और इस शहर के अगर उस शहर होने का सबूत मिल भी गया, तो भी ये कैसे साबित होगा कि उन कहानियों में बाकी जो चीज़ें हैं, वो सब सच हैं?
क्योंकि मेरा भी मतलब मिथोलॉजी से लेके मेन पॉइंट मेरा यही कि लोग, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ें लोगों को और एनकरेज करती है जो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि मिथोलॉजी नहीं हिस्ट्री। जैसे कि अभी वो राम सेतु के ऊपर, तो क्या वो असली में राम सेतु ही है? लाइक वो वेस्टर्न लोग उसको एडम्स ब्रिज बोल देते हैं वगैरह-वगैरह, बट
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ।
किसी
नहीं
ने बोला कि
राम
कोरल
सेतु
रीफ है।
देखो राम सेतु
किसी
एक नेचुरल स्ट्रक्चर है,
हुँ, हुँ।
जो कि कई सालों पहले पानी के ऊपर थी एंड इट वाज़ अ लैंड ब्रिज जिसके माध्यम से हो सकता है इंसान या हो सकता है जानवर भी आना-जाना कर सकते हो श्रीलंका का जो भूखंड है और भारत का जो भूखंड है, उनके बीच में। पर ऐसा कोई एविडेंस नहीं है जो ये कहता है कि राम सेतु को आर्टिफ़िशियली बनाया गया था। आज भी अगर तुम गूगल अर्थ में टाइप करके देखोगे एडम्स ब्रिज या श्रीलंका और इंडिया वाले हिस्से पे ज़ूम इन
हुँ, हुँ।
करोगे, तुमको दिखेगा लिटरली कि इट्स द सेम लैंड मास जिसका एक पतला हिस्सा हिस्सा पानी के ऊपर था, अब नहीं है। दिखता है, लिटरली सैटेलाइट से दिखता है। अगर
लेकिन
गूग
मैंने मतलब अंग्रेजों की वीडियो देखे थे, तो मतलब फॉरेनर्स के, तो उसमें भी वो लोग मतलब ये इस बात को पुश कर रहे हैं कि ये मैन
हुँ,
मेड है, ये मैन मेड। बट
हुँ,
मतलब, और साइंस जर्नी ने अपने वीडियो में बताया था, मतलब उनका वीडियो भी काफी रिसर्च था साइंस जर्नी का भी, उन्होंने इसमें बताया था कि
हुँ,
वो कोरल रीफ है, ऐसा ही कुछ करके बताया था
हुँ।
कि ये कोरल रीफ है, रेत-वेत जमी
हाँ,
वगैरह
हाँ,
वगैरह
हाँ,
ऐसे कुछ
हाँ।
कर।
इट्स अ नेचुरल थिंग, या आई
हुँ।
एग्री।
उन्होंने भी ये बोला था कि नेचुरली बना है, लेकिन मैन मेड नहीं बना है। तो मतलब वही
हुँ,
है कि मिथोलॉजी को मतलब हिस्ट्री कंसीडर करना, जैसे कि मे बी हो सकता है कि शायद श्री राम कोई सच में हो, श्री
हुँ।
कृष्ण भी सच में हो, बट
नहीं,
उनके साथ
उसका
जो
एक और
स्टोरी।
ये भी है ना कि टाइम स्केल्स मैच नहीं करती। क्योंकि
हाँ, हाँ,
एडम्स ब्रिज जो भी राम सेतु है,
हाँ,
ये कितने साल पहले अंडर वाटर हुआ था, और तब भारत में इंसान रहते भी थे या नहीं रहते थे, उसके ऊपर भी टाइम स्केल मैच नहीं करते।
वही, क्योंकि मैंने देखा है कि मतलब वो हमेशा टाइम को स्विच कर देते थे। जैसे कि रामायण को अभी मतलब मेजरली लोग मैंने देखा है कि 7,000 साल पुराना बता रहे हैं, बट
हुँ,
शायद स्टोरीज़ के हिसाब से और पुराण के हिसाब से तो वो शायद 8 लाख साल पुराना है
एग्ज़ैक्टली,
स्टोरी।
एग्ज़ैक्टली।
तो
तो इनके ना टाइम स्केल मैच करते हैं, ना एविडेंस मैच करता है। सो यही मानना पड़ेगा कि पूरी की पूरी कहानी है बस।
और अभी लाइक जो
रॉनी हो
हिंदू
गया
जो।
तुम्हारा, रॉनी, बहुत लोग वेट कर
ओके,
रहे
ओके,
हैं। आई
थैंक यू,
कांट कीप टॉकिंग टू यू। लेट्स
ओके, ओके,
टॉक नेक्स्ट टाइम।
थैंक यू वेमो,
कूल? चलो, बाय।
थैंक यू वेमो, बाय।
That was Ronnie. I'll just thank Milind for the 100 rupee super sticker. He says, "Hello Vimo, have you seen YouTube video of Manushi channel with Maitreyi Goswami? No, I have not. Is it something I should watch? Why are you recommending it? Tell me more." Uh, Next person. Okay, there are a few people, but let me just quickly take Mahesh and see if he has any. If he remembered the second question. Hi Mahesh.
हेलो।
याद आया second question क्या था?
अब सेकंड क्वेश्चन याद तो आया, लेकिन फिर वो भी फिर ये डिपेंड करेगा कि आपको उसके बारे में कितनी नॉलेज है। तो मैं फिर अभी ये
पूछ लो।
पूछ रहा हूँ कि ये इसके बारे में मतलब ये फिलॉसफी वगैरह है, ये भी एक तरह से यही है ना कि सोच के एग्जिस्टेंस के बारे में जो भी है वो सोच के बताना, अगर सही हुआ तो ठीक, नहीं हुआ तो भी ठीक, एक तुक्का है एक तरह से।
हाँ, तो क्या पूछ रहे हो?
हाँ, मतलब अगर फिलॉसफी में जैसे हमने एक बार पहले भी बात की थी, तो आपने कहा था फिलॉसफी के बारे में ये अम्ब्रेला टर्म है, उसके अंदर काफी सारी इसकी ब्रांचेज है।
हाँ।
उसमें कोई एग्जिस्टेंशियल के बारे में भी क्वेश्चन होते हैं, लोग सोचते हैं उसके
हुँ,
बारे में।
हुँ,
तो उसमें फिर क्या होता है, मतलब सोच के जो सूझा, मतलब जो उसने थॉट किया वो
हुँ।
सही हो, मतलब एक तरह से अगर लॉजिकल हुआ तो ठीक, नहीं हुआ
मुझे
तो भी
पता
ठीक।
है मैंने क्या कहा था, पर तुम पूछ क्या रहे हो?
हाँ, मतलब ये एक तरह से फिलोसफी गेस वर्क ही है ना, मतलब एक तरह से देखा जाए तो
हाँ, श्योर।
गेस वर्क। हाँ, अब मेरा मेन क्वेश्चन होता है कि हम अभी स्ट्रीम पे आए तो किस टॉपिक पे बात कर सकते हैं, किन किन टॉपिक्स पे?
दैट्स योर क्वेश्चन।
यस।
आई डोंट नो मैन। आई सपोज़ यू कैन आस्क अबाउट, तुमको पता है स्ट्रीम पे किस टाइप की चीज़ों पे बात होती है?
हाँ, वैसे
एथिज़्म
मोटा-मोटा पता है,
एथिज़्म
एथिज्म।
या
यस। हाँ।
एथिज़्म इज़ द प्राइमरी टॉपिक, बट
यस।
हम लोग कंटेम्परेरी पॉलिटिक्स, रिलिजन, कल्चर के बारे में भी बात करते हैं। सो
ओके,
या
ठीक है। मतलब अगर ये लॉजिक की डेफिनेशन ये एथिज्म के कहीं थोड़ा बहुत नजदीक के अंदर आता है क्या?
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अगर तुम यहाँ पे आके ऐसे सवाल पूछोगे जिसके बारे में तुम गूगल सर्च करके जान सकते हो,
हुँ।
तो कोई तुक नहीं बनता ना।
नहीं, मैंने गूगल सर्च किया था लेकिन समझ नहीं
क्या
आया।
मिला?
तो
क्या मिला?
उसमें मैंने वो डेफिनेशन उसी दिन समझ नहीं आई, तो फिर मैं भूल गया, फिर समझ ही नहीं आई तो याद कैसे रखूँगा उसे? एक बार मैं सर्च करके देखता हूँ, ठीक है? अब
अभी
इसके लिए
अभी
फिर मैं
तुम लाइव
हाँ,
स्ट्रीम पे सर्च
सेम
मत करो।
हाँ, सेम सेम
महेश,
सेम थिंग। यस।
कम बैक नेक्स्ट टाइम वी विल टॉक मोर।
यस।
ठीक है? चलो,
यस।
बाय। That was Mahesh, who for some reason thinks this is google.com. But anyway, the next caller is Kale Chips. Hi Kale,
Hello, I'm
क्या चल रहा है?
अभी तो वही same job 9 to 5. Come back reading. I actually started
Okay,
reading
okay.
since the last time you and Meghnad were on call.
Hmm.
I am reading this book called
What are you reading?
The Past Before Us.
Hmm.
It's called The Past Before Us by Romila Thapar,
Okay.
which was interesting because actually it seems so. I mean, I actually believed this before. I used to believe this that Romila Thapar was one of the uh, like she was one of the people who was propagating Aryan invasion theory,
Hmm.
and like most of her work was based on biased European and Western English
Hmm.
historians and their
Hmm.
interpretation of history. But that's not the case, actually. I mean, this whole book is just like deconstructing all of European historiography. And they used to be like, India doesn't have history, they don't know how to record history. And the entire book is just like,
Hmm.
no. they
Okay.
they have history, they had historical consciousness. And
Hmm.
so it was just kind of interesting. Like the whole, I mean, she gets so much hate, but
Hmm.
the things that she gets hate for is not even a thing. Like she hasn't done
Yeah,
any of
most
the
people
things
have
that she
not
gets
read her
hate for.
books. And the
Right.
same goes for Wendy Doniger also, by the way. Most of the right-wing loonies who call these people anti-Hindu have never seen their work.
Hmm. Which is sad, actually. It's kind
Yeah,
of
it's
sad.
very sad, but also understandable. Like these are not the biggest readers in the house, so it's understandable that when someone randomly claims, "Hey, ये anti-Hindu hai," they will all be like, "Ah, ये anti-Hindu hai."
Yeah. Yeah. There was a similar thing with William Dalrymple. Like I listened to this podcast also on Meghnad's recommendation, the
Empire.
Empire
Yeah,
podcast.
I've
Yeah.
also been listening to it. Yeah.
And there was like this article. I think this one was an old article from the Indian
Hmm.
Express. He's talking about like Indians have the tendency to like portray people as either angels or demons.
Yeah.
And the forum where this was posted, he was like, "Oh, he's just a Hindu hater." There was an vomit emoji, and I mean, it's which brings me to an actual point, which was that there seems to be. I mean, I had this discussion with my friends. We were talking about like if somebody is just completely distrustful
Hmm.
of intellectuals in their field, like I mean,
Hmm.
not intellect, just experts, like you
Hmm.
know, climate scientists for climate change, historians when it comes to like history and stuff. And when they just don't believe the people who have read and studied the subject,
Hmm.
how do you change their minds? And my friend, and including Meghnad, even he was talking about like, I've just left my uncle, I've left, like I don't even see the point of discussing with him anymore,
Hmm.
right? Like when it's somebody so far gone. But as far as I can tell, most people are like that. I mean, nobody trusts intellectuals, like especially historians. We have just no trust. Every
Hmm.
established eminent historian
I
is a
don't think this
leftist
is unique
Marxist.
to. I don't think this is unique to India, though.
Okay.
I mean, there's a quote by Isaac Asimov from a couple of, I mean, close to 30, 40 years now, where he said that, not 30, 40 years, more, I think. He said that there's a lingering strain of anti intellectualism in American circles. So when if you've seen the movie RoboCop, if you've seen the movie RoboCop, you'll find
No, I
that there is
haven't.
a boy sitting in a petrol pump and he's reading a book, and a couple of goons come and try to rob him, and then they see him reading a book and they say like, "Ah, so you are a college boy." So I think in every society, whenever possible, people who have not had access to education try to find some way of looking down upon people who are in education. And in India, it tends to be a problem, obviously, for the same reason. We are a young country with a lot of illiteracy. So anyone who wishes to rise in society or in political circles finds it useful to make the scholar the enemy. So the experts are bad, the scholars are bad, the academics are bad, they're all anti-national. The only person who's pro-nation is the person who doesn't know that the gas that spread in the Bhopal gas tragedy was inflammable. So the
Hmm.
dumber you can get, the closer you are to the lowest common denominator, the more popular you will be. And this is in the internet age, when popularity is the main measure of anything, number of
Yeah.
likes, number of followers, etc. The culture is getting pushed in that direction. How can you get the most number of likes if you don't care about right or wrong, if you don't care about accuracy, if you don't care about what is right, correct information, what is misinformation? You can just say the things that the lowest common denominator wants to hear, and you can get their likes.
It
There are
reflects on,
entire
yeah.
podcasts which have this as their guiding principles.
Yeah, it reflects on the YouTube space as a whole. Also, like, I mean, I personally know like three channels, three educational, strictly educational channels in total, like of Indian
Hmm.
origin. I think like there is
Hmm.
Science is Dope, there is Garib Scientist करके है, and there
Hmm.
is Guruji Bus. Otherwise, it's mostly like Abhi and New, and they talk about
Yeah, yeah,
ancient
yeah.
Indian spirits and stuff
I've
like
been
that.
meaning to make a video about the state of intelligence, just the idea of intelligence in India, and about how we have such a twisted definition of it that everything suffers as a result of it. But the mind boggles when I imagine the amount of work I will have to do for it.
And okay, this brings me again to my next point, which was that I am actually working on a project kind of thing about history. Like since I've been reading, I thought I might as well. Like this is not, as far as I can tell, people. This is not like general knowledge. The
Hmm.
books that I'm picking up.
Hmm.
So I thought I'd like do some kind of stuff on YouTube.
Hmm.
But because of this, like you said, the same sentiment, like the anti-intellectual sentiment, is there in other countries also. But I can't imagine, like, for example, take Extra History, a YouTube channel hai,
Hmm.
where they do historical videos. I can't
Hmm.
imagine the amount of vitriol in the comments that I can imagine in on an Indian channel if they try to cover a historical topic.
Hmm.
I mean, and that's what I'm afraid of. Like, whatever I cite as my sources in this project, they can all be like, oh, every single one of these is just like a leftist Marxist. Like, the people that I would want to reach, they are already tuned out because they don't consider any of my sources relevant or.
So you can't worry about that. If you start wondering if if a source will be acceptable to people who already are misinformed and you need to inform them, then you're not going to get very far, because they don't know what they need. You know what they need, and you're trying to give it to them. So your decision should not be based on what they want. It should be based on what they need. Maybe many people will get turned off when they see your thing, but that's still the content is still worth making, right? Yeah.
So let's see if this comes to fruition. I mean, still
Yeah, best of
working on
luck.
it, but yeah, I hope, I hope even if one person is like, you have gotten in me interested in history and got me
Yeah,
interested
yeah.
in reading, uh,
Even if one
because right,
person's opinion
yeah,
changes by an inch, it's worth it.
yeah, because right now it's like, I don't know. Have you seen Reddit? India Speaks. करके एक, there is a subreddit.
No, I
So there
don't spend
is,
much time on social media these days.
right. So on Reddit there is like two of these. Like, so there is India. It's just named r/India, and there is
Hmm.
India Speaks. India
Huh,
Speaks is, I would
I
say,
know of
like,
art/India. I've been on it long back.
India Speaks is like clear cut right wing
Yeah.
Islamophobic conspiracy theorist
I
people.
think it's a stroke of luck that r/India got dominated by lefties and liberals before the right wing became internet savvy. Otherwise,
Yeah,
India le jate wo log. That handle is like not in their control.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but on that subreddit, I browse that subreddit a lot, and whenever I see one of these, anything related to any historical topic,
Hmm.
um I mean, 100% of the comment section is not discussing what they said. It's just discussing what their political leaning is, or like how big way they are, and it's just disappointing. Like, I kind of feel like, who is going to watch this?
See, the
The thing
solution
that
is not to despair when you see their communities. The solution is to build better communities on our side. They're not going away, right?
yeah.
But it should not happen that the general public who's undecided, all they get to hear is what they say. So the
Hmm.
solution is to give your ideas an equal chance by creating communities around it, which is one of the things that I want to do with this channel also.
Correct, correct. Yeah, that's what I want. Like every all of these channels, like Science is Dope, yeah, your
Hmm.
channel, yeah, whichever. Uh, Anytime they debunk these kinds of myths, or like even American channels when they talk about trans people, then I just wonder
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
how many minds are changed. Is this just like people who already agree with this? They're just watching this, or our minds actually getting changed?
Yes.
I don't. Oh, okay. Like, do you know this for a
No,
fact? Like,
no, I was agreeing with you. Ki I also wonder how many minds are getting changed. Sometimes I also despair. Ki there's so much misinformation spreading. This last week I got a mail. Hold on, Kale, just 1 second.
yeah, sure.
We are at 10:11, which means that there are only two more people I will be able to take in today's call. So I'm disabling the link right now, so that, hold on, yeah, so that no more people can join. Sorry about this, but I really do need to make sure that I finish the live stream in 1 hour. So I had two, now I have three. I have Sumana, Jay and Danish. इन तीनों के बाद मैं बंद कर दूंगा आज का live stream. So yeah, Kale, I was telling you कि this last week I got a mail, the top podcast in India, from Spotify. Then I got another from Geo7, etc. And they gave us statistics about what is working and what is not. And the top podcasts in India are almost top 10 podcast में से a majority, an overwhelming majority, is about religion, spirituality, and mythology. Geo Savan gave stats which said that the most common genre is spirituality or religion. And the only category that comes close to challenging the supremacy of spirituality is storytelling. So, uh, Kill, I'm muting you a little bit, huh? Because the fan noise or something is getting in the way. Yeah. So that it creates quite a lot of despair in my mind when I see the podcast rankings, the channel rankings. You go to YouTube, go to trending page. People like Ranveer Alabadia have literally figured out a way to monetize ignorance. They have figured out a way to monetize whatever is being done, uh, like great culture, ancient culture. What is happening here? I can't mute him. Yeah. So great culture, ancient culture, Indian culture, haunted house, secret of Falana, and uh, uh, anything like there. He's literally getting conspiracy theorists, proven, demonstrated conspiracy theorists as guests on his podcast, and he's calling it India's smartest podcast, and he's also calling it
Yeah.
he's. Sorry, I muted you again. Go on, go on.
Yeah, yeah, that's all right. Actually, I think my connection is just I'm missing most of what you're saying, but yes,
Oh, okay, okay.
I get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
so it causes a lot of despair,
yeah,
but the best thing we can do is push out stuff from our end and hope that it gets to people. Okay.
correct. Yeah,
Anyway,
okay.
किल ठीक है, तो
But
मैं अगले कॉलर को लेता हूँ, हाँ.
sure, sure. Yeah, nice talking. Yeah.
चलो, बाय. Hmm. The next caller is Sumana, but Sumana, your devices are not connected. Yes, now they're connected. Hi, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. What's up?
I don't know if it's a question. I just wanted to know your opinion.
Huh.
So I started volunteering recently, and my role here mainly is to help a minority family that,
Hmm.
came from Afghanistan.
Hmm.
Help them grocery shopping in general. Help them adapt to the life in the US.
Hmm.
And they come from a religious belief,
Hmm.
and um, I see, boys getting a lot of value than the girls in the family. As a feminist, I always feel like, I should step in, encourage the girl more.
Hmm.
But also as a parent, I do not want anyone, coming and interfering on how I
Yeah.
want to raise my child.
Yeah.
Um, so I wanted to know, how do you know how I can balance, and maybe because I can really see that girl is really smart. She learned English. She speaks English like an American within a
Hmm.
year, and
Hmm.
I can see a lot of potential in her, and I just don't want her to not do anything with her life. So I was wondering how to balance this.
How impressionable are the parents? Are they like really hung up on religion?
I mean, I think so, because parents, if I say something, they do listen to me, but there are like two boys in the family who are younger to her, and I see them really dominating her and not
Hmm.
letting her go anywhere. And I don't want to create any extra problems, because I
So
know
are
if I,
there?
and
Huh,
yeah,
go
go
on.
ahead. So I just wanted to say, if I encourage that girl more, and after she goes back home, if I take her out and she goes back home, I don't want her to face any problems for from her brothers because of me. So I was just trying to figure out, how
Are there
to.
any ethical, like if your the nature of your engagement with this family is sarkari or private?
No, it's just me on my own. I went
Acha.
through, yeah, there is
So
no protection or anything. Yeah.
okay. So I'm wondering if there are other people who, like, is this in a purely neighborly capacity?
Um, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. So my solution would be, if the parents hold any kind of sway on the boys and the girl, expose the parents to all the potentials that their new situation can offer them. Things that were impossible to dream about back where they came from, and things that they can do there. And when that becomes possible, like, let them see the kind of things their daughter is capable of, and maybe that will be enough to push them in the direction that you want to go them in. Obviously you're right to think that, like, no parent would appreciate being told what to do with their children, but you can perhaps try to impress upon them the change in circumstances that has happened to them. And even though it might have certain downsides, it has certain upsides also for their family in general. You can give them, maybe, and this is just off the top of my head, you can give them examples of other families from a similar background who came to that this new surrounding and made best use of it. So as a family, perhaps they don't have role models, because when they are in a surrounding where everyone believes like them, they think, okay, like, my neighbor got a car, I'll get a car. My neighbor gets a fridge, I'll get a fridge. That becomes the defining, that becomes how we define our life or what we should do with our life. And in this new surrounding where they cannot see anything in common between themselves and their neighbors, maybe you can find them role models to look at, and maybe that can, look at this Afghan family. They came to this country and they did this much. Maybe that can help.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably I should reach out and figure out which other families are there nearby to,
Hmm.
push them a little bit. Okay.
Or just Google, prominent, American Afghani families or Canadian Afghani families or something like that, and you can find stuff that you can share with them. Just talk about them.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to
Yeah.
do that.
How are you otherwise?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
I remember that you have to be on the show at some point of time in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll
that's
plan
going to
that.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll plan that. Chalo.
Okay. See
Thank
you.
you. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
The next person is, so there are like two people now, Jay Mishra and Danish Dubey. उसके बाद आज का लाइव स्ट्रीम खत्म. एक बार देख लूँ यहाँ कुछ है क्या. Okay, there was this person called Ishan who came and left, and he's now asking me, why have you blocked me in comment section? I have not blocked. I don't remember blocking you, but if I have blocked you, it will probably be because there was either misinformation or religious proselytization or abuse. These are the three reasons for which I block people. Or if someone is like repeatedly being annoying, I block them. But no, I don't think I have blocked you. Let's see. Jay Mishra. Hi, Jay.
Yeah, hi Vimoh.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I guess last time I took a lot of your time, so this time I'll try to make it really short.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So Vimoh, actually, there is one thing like I was a bit fascinated about since 20 years or even more. So but just when you started your live stream, there was some discussion happening and that triggered me, and I went and searched something. It was about reincarnation research. I'm not sure
Hmm.
if that
Yeah.
comes into as a uh, what do you say,
Topic.
pseudoscience, or what it would fall under.
Hmm.
But I heard, what I was reading about was there is a ex head of department of clinical psychology in Bangalore, in Nimhans. There was a doctor. There's a doctor called Satwant Pasricha.
Hmm.
If you might have heard about her, I'm not sure.
No, I haven't.
Uh, and she collaborated with, there was a person called Ian Stevenson. Maybe you might
Hmm.
have heard his name. So he was the kind of pioneer in reincarnation research, and she, Dr. Satwan Pasricha, she's a lady. So she was like earlier, she was head of department of clinical psychology here in Nimhans,
Okay.
and they together, it seems, they did investigate close to or more than 100 cases in India and maybe other places nearby as well, and they
Hmm.
have documented all of that. And so they have published it, and her research about this is, I guess, that's what it is mentioned that it was funded by University of Virginia and also ICMR, and even by Nimhans and other organizations also.
Okay.
I just got one video YouTube link of her presenting something, and I have posted that in the chat. So
Okay.
frankly speaking, I'm not comfortable in the sense that I do not want to believe which my mind cannot explain,
Hmm.
but I mean anything supernatural.
How
But
do they
like I
explain
think,
it, Danish? Sorry, Jay. How do they explain it?
they did not explain it. They are just, what do you say? They I mean they explain that this is what they observed, and I did not go through
They
the complete
observed
video.
reincarnation.
Then
So here's the thing. How does one observe reincarnation?
So what they do is, what like this is what I recall from like last 20 years or so. This
Hmm.
video I could not watch. I just watched first initial 5 minutes, the presentation which she was making in a seminar kind of a setting. But what I could recall from what I read then was that she has documented the really detailed investigations which they did, wherein they used to meet the person who was claiming that he is reincarnation of someone somewhere, and then
Hmm.
they used to tally the details of what that person was or what the child was describing
Hmm.
with the actual happenings, what happened and all. So they
Hmm.
have published that, and they have described that in an academic format, not like in a religious this thing. She did not she was not using any religious terms or anything like that.
Okay.
So it
Yeah. So
looked
I've
like an
also
academic pursuit.
I've also seen such studies, but my point is this. Suppose you hear someone claim that they were someone else in another life, and then you go and you find that the things that they are talking about are true. You have not actually observed reincarnation. All you have observed is a claim and then certain evidence to suggest that the things that they are talking about actually did happen. Now, what is a simpler explanation for it? That there is a known method which is escaping us somehow, or that the human body leaves the human spirit, there is a human spirit that leaves the body and enters another human body before it is born, and then that it carries memories with it. What is more likely, a simple
Yeah,
physical explanation that
obvi-
is escapes us, or the
exactly.
magical one?
Obviously, obviously, definitely the one which I want to believe is the natural one, because I do not believe in
Not
anything.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Sometimes people might want to believe the magical one. For example, if someone has lost someone, they would want to
Yeah,
believe that the person they have lost is gone. But that
correct,
comes
correct,
from an emotional need to not lose someone and avoid pain. But
exactly.
the point is that we cannot come to any decision about this based on what we want to believe. We have to reach a
Right.
decision on the basis of what seems more likely or what has more evidence supporting it.
Correct, correct. So that is what. So what I went. I mean, what I recall from what I read then, it was that they. I mean, there was little or no likelihood in those cases. I mean, which wherever she found, which were like kind of genuine cases. Like not all the cases which which they investigated turned out to be genuine, but the cases which looked like genuine, those cases there was little or no likelihood of the person who was claiming to have a prior
Hmm.
knowledge of what happened to that. So that is what made me uncomfortable at that time. So
Listen,
maybe
I
maybe.
would recommend,
Mhm.
that you on this channel, if you go to the interviews section, there is an
Uh-huh.
interview with a magician called Nakul Shenoy, and he's a
I guess
magician.
I guess I heard part of it. I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in it, he does talk about it. Magicians have been doing really weird stuff for hundreds of years. So when someone says that a child can look through a blindfold or that a child can remember a past life, there are ways of doing all of this without getting caught. So to me, it seems more likely that that is the explanation for this than a method using which where all you have is a child claiming something. Children are extremely impressionable. A lot depends on the way the
Something.
questions were asked. A lot depends on how eager that child is for attention. So don't you think that is more likely?
Uh, I what I understand is they were put through proper investigative. What do you say? They were properly. I mean, that survey or that questioning was in depth. That is what my understanding is. Because these people are not like
But how can,
some.
listen, the thing is, how can it be in depth? How do they make 100% sure that a child has had no exposure to something like that? You do realize that there are people who claim to live for 30, 40 years without eating any food. What is more likely, that they have a
Yeah.
simple way of accessing food, or that they are actually able to survive for 30, 40 years without food? When something is clearly
Uh-huh.
impossible,
That is
no matter of the depth of research matters. Like if you're going to say that I really did in-depth research and here is all the data to prove
true.
that I'm a hippopotamus, you don't need to research the data. You can just look at me and say, hey, chal, you're not a hippopotamus. I don't need to read that report. You're not hippopotamus. It's plainly
It
visible.
definitely doesn't. Yeah, it definitely doesn't make sense. But if you can go through, it's a half an hour video. Maybe
I have the
if you
link.
can go.
I have the link. I have the link.
Yeah,
I'll try to go through it. I make no promises though, because there are a lot of videos I haven't seen. I'll go through it. ठीक है?
sure, sure. Thanks, Vimo. Thank you.
चलो. Thanks, Jay. Bye. And that was Jay. The last caller is Danish Dube. Hi, Danish.
Hey Mo, what's up?
चल रहा है बस. Saturated चल रहा है life.
So I recently watched your podcast on AI and the future of art.
Hmm.
So in that podcast, actually, I think you really underestimated the potential of AI and technology.
Okay. Tell
You
me how.
and the other person, Vinayak, also. Have you
Tell
heard
me how.
of because the Chat GPT and DALI 2 actually are products of a, a web service called OpenAI.
Yeah.
So have you heard of OpenAI's another service called, no, it was not service, but a game, hide and seek. It was a project, hide and seek.
No, no.
Have you heard of it?
Tell me how I underestimated it.
Because, for example, in previous centuries, people used to think that intelligence,
Hmm.
for example, in medieval, in ancient periods, like in case of Socrates and Plato, people used
Hmm.
to think that if you can recall and memorize more information, then you are
Hmm.
more intelligent.
Hmm.
But we can't. But we have many Google boys and Google girls now. We can't say
Hmm.
that they are intelligent because computer can do that too. So
Yeah.
definition of intelligence, consciousness, understanding is changing.
Yeah.
So maybe what we think understanding, feeling is, maybe it's more definable than we think it is.
No,
So eventually,
there is actually a lot of clear data about what understanding means. Consciousness, we have really doubts about, but understanding, we know how the human brain works. One of the reasons we have had increasing amounts of concern about social media fragmenting the human attention span is because of this only. The human brain assimilates information, collects them as memories, then the memories interact with each other in order to build an understanding. This is not on the table. Like, understanding cannot be redefined this way. You can have more efficient ways of storing information outside the human brain, and The human brain is like, if you ask it to do something, it will get used to doing it, and if it does not do something, it will remove that method from whatever pathway was doing it, and use that pathway for something else. Did you know that there was research about how London cabbies remember a lot of streets and turns and efficient ways of how
Yeah,
to
I've
get
read the
to
book
places,
Shallows. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So Shallows has this London cabbies example was that a part of their brain that is in charge of spatial recognition was larger than other people, but because of that, because this method took a lot of space, certain other aspects of their understanding or thinking were getting affected. They were getting lesser amount of attention, because agar tum if the whole day your job is to process space, then certain other parts of your brain which are in charge of doing other things, they will go into misuse, not misuse, disuse, and they will get your brain will forget how to do those things. So
The
the
reason I
methods
said,
the methods that we have used
yeah,
to get here may not be the methods that we continue to use to get somewhere else. I was not
hmm,
underestimating AI. I was actually worried about how effective it is going to be. And when something is very effective, it is going to affect a lot of things that we do right now.
the reason I said that you're underestimating is because you compare technology with, for example, tractors replacing the labor is same as you didn't really compare, but it was like a metaphor you used that
Mhm.
as tractors replace, as people said tractors will replace labors, so
Mhm.
people are saying that DALI 2 or ChatGPT will replace artists. But I think the better analogy here will be chess. For example, chess or Go.
Mhm.
Now we have stockfish and neural networking. Stockfish
Mhm.
has like thousands of years of human knowledge. That's true. But now, over all of that, over the top of that, it has thousands or even millions of games it played against itself. So it has a lot more knowledge than we humans have, accumulated over the period of thousands of years. It has more knowledge than that, and we don't know what the knowledge is. And that knowledge was built upon the the things that you described as what understanding and re- feedback loop and evolution and all that stuff, neural networking, all of
Mhm.
that is made up, all of that is actually kind of simulating the human brain. So we don't know when the knowledge of AI or the understanding of AI becomes more than us, because now in stockfish,
So how
in
was
case
I
of chess
under
or Go.
listen, the crux of that podcast was me being worried that AI will replace a lot of things that only human beings can do, right?
Hmm.
You
I
are
said,
now saying that you are now saying the same thing. So how was I underestimating it?
at the end of the podcast you said, I want to hear that humans have something different. We tell me that humans have something different than AI. So
So you're saying
the
you're
answer
saying
the
that
Vinayak gave,
huh, huh.
I'm not really, satisfied with that answer.
What did
I'm saying
Vinayak
that
give? Remind me what Vinayak said.
Vinayak said that the feeling or the mistakes, the mistakes of the art of hiding the mistakes is what makes an human artist different from AI, because now
Yeah, yeah,
AI
I
is
remember
more
now.
of a perfection or
I
something
remember.
like that.
I
But I'm
think I
saying that
think I don't think Vinayak was committed to that. I asked a question, so he gave a response. But I think even it is apparent to Vinayak and me and many others in our field that everything that we hold dear as things only humans can do can be done by an AI. I agree with you. AI is going to do a lot of things that seem impossible for machines to do right now. But there is also an aspect of the human touch that I cannot describe properly. And I think that is, at least for the time being, going to remain out of reach for AI. And it is entirely possible that I'm wrong about this. By the way, I'm not very emotionally attached to this. The reason I am asking you is because I don't remember. But I'm completely okay with being proven wrong about any of this, because
the reason I'm asking
growing at
is,
such a this technology is growing at such a fast pace that nothing is going to be surprising me for the next decade or so. Yeah, go on.
hmm, the reason I'm asking is because I myself am interested in this AI field, and even my own goal in my dream is to create a human level artificial intelligence. But the
Hmm.
thing is, it's like a more of a philosophical question. If I know,
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
example, now I know that I can create a robot that
Hmm.
potentially, not surely, but maybe can become sentient. So should I create it or not? Should I go on and create that kind of AI or not?
Can I tell
It's
you my
more of a
honest feelings
philosophical
about this?
question.
My honest feelings about this are going. This is going to take 5 minutes. You have time.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's the thing. Right now, we have certain AI models in the market which have been trained on the entirety of the internet. Right?
Hmm.
They have gone through the extensive archive of human knowledge, human behavior, and they have formed whatever their understanding is. Correct?
Hmm.
The decision to give access to all of this knowledge was not made by all people. It was made by a few people who are either entrepreneurs or developers or researchers.
Yeah.
So the AI, whatever shape the AI has taken, it has taken on the basis of the decisions made by those people. The AI itself is not actually making any decisions, right? It's a tool, at least right now.
Hmm.
So I foresee a future where the tool is available to me. I train it on all my work. I train it to go through all my work. Everything I've written till today, everything I've said till today, everything I've drawn till today, all my work. I have my personal AI, like Iron Man had Jarvis, and I train it on the things that I have rights to. And then when I'm writing, I tell my AI, ए ये ऐसे का लास्ट पैराग्राफ मुझे कुछ अच्छा सूझ नहीं रहा है, तू लिख दे. And it will write the last paragraph the way I would write it, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that is a good case scenario that I can foresee. The human having access to an AI of his own and then training that AI on works that the human has access to and has rights to. There may even be publicly available archives to which, like just say, yeah, Gutenberg project, all the books that were
Hmm.
written which are out of copyright or something, and
Yeah.
you those are publicly available things, and because they're in public domain you have the right to use your AI on it. But AI getting training based on copyrighted works by artists, writers, scholars is a bit problematic because those artists, writers and scholars never gave their consent to this. So ethical AI, programming AIs to do uh, to programming AIs to do work effectively by training them on things that people give permission to use as training material. That is a good case scenario. But if this goes on the way it is going on right now, where AI like running rampant across the internet, copying everything and learning from it, it
Hmm.
does violate the rights of a lot of people. And people are not wrong when they say, Ki, I never gave my consent to this. Who is this software company sitting in Silicon Valley? Who are they to decide what happens with my work?
Yeah. Still, I'm gonna kind of stop you. The thing
Hmm.
is, I'm not saying that I train an AI based on all people's work. For example, say I create a robot
Hmm.
that does not have any previous data, anything.
Hmm.
I let it learn through its surroundings, like us humans.
Hmm.
Take all the, walk, take all the visual senses, and learn and grasp and understand like humans.
Hmm.
So it has no previous human data to train on. It
Hmm.
trains on itself. It trains, for example, like Alpha Zero or hide and seek.
Got it.
The,
Got it.
the OpenAI is hide and seek. If I
Hmm.
do that, I'm gonna have maybe, I'm not sure about it, but maybe I'm gonna have an AI who will be far more sentient, far more understandable, and intelligent than humans. So should we
Hmm.
create that kind of AI? That I'm asking, because it's I don't know what the philosophical point of
Yeah.
view on
I
that
think
you
there
have.
is an organization in Canada which is the like it's a research organization on ethical AI, and I think the head of it is Indian also. So maybe you can look into their work. I personally, honestly, I have not made up my mind about it. I worry about both things. A few years ago, if you had asked me if we should go for something technologically profound, I would have said yes. Progress for the sake of progress is a great thing. But these days, I'm more of the bent of mind that we need to take into consideration the price we pay for progress. And we are looking at the price of it also. अभी कुछ दिन पहले खबर आई थी कोई शहर जमीन के अंदर घुस रहा है क्योंकि वहां पे आसपास बहुत डेवलपमेंट हो गई थी. So development and progress for
Right.
the sake of development and progress, I no longer think is a good thing. We need to take into account all the things that it might you've read the Shallows, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Shallows had this thing where, yeah, sure, tech is giving us a lot of things, but we also need to keep our eye on the things that we are losing as a result of it, because some of those things may be irretrievable.
You know, why I want to create this AI is because I want to understand what consciousness and what human brain is, how human brain actually works. Because I don't think there is so much spiritual to consciousness as we want it to be. There is not so
Hmm.
much. Maybe
Hmm.
it's just a comparison of the story we tell ourselves and how
Yeah, yeah.
actually our real life goes.
Maybe there is
So
no such thing as consciousness.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we just a story we tell ourselves. But
yeah.
the thing is that if I create such an AI, it will not
Hmm.
be a tool to ourself. It will be another being on itself.
Hmm.
I'm asking that. It's not going to help us or maybe damage us, but it's another being in itself.
You're asking
It's
if
not,
we should only invent things if they're useful to us, or should we invent things even if they're not useful to us?
yeah, because they're gonna have a brain of themselves, and they may be even more
But
intelligent than
are you
humans.
then, if the clause you're adding to this is that maybe they will have a brain of themselves, then are you still not thinking about your own needs?
I want to understand how human brain works,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
but
don't. What I'm wondering, and by the way, there is no answers here. I'm not answering question. I'm just
yeah, yeah.
wondering with you. What I'm wondering is it even possible to invent things without wanting anything from them?
Hmm, we can incentivize some things.
Hmm.
We can say if you will do this, we will give you some incentives, but then it will learn all of the possible skills surrounding how to get that incentive. For example, in the
Yeah,
book
yeah.
Atomic Habits,
Hmm.
for example, dopamine is an incentive to us, and we build
Yes.
all kinds of habits, distractions, and you know, bad habits or good habits to
Hmm.
get that incentive.
Hmm.
Similarly, AI can have that too. We can just simulate that.
It can, but imagine what the state of human society would be if it was purely incentive driven. Like the kind of damage we talk about, the kind of damage that capitalism is doing is because it is purely based on economic incentives, and that does not make for a healthy society. The reason, like, if everyone was out to pursue the goal of whatever brings them the most joy, then a lot of people would suffer. The powerful would take a lot of things. The powerless would be powerless to stop them. So, what we have in addition to an incentive based society is a sense of ethics about, sure, you can pursue your happiness, but don't cross these lines. What are
Here
those
you can
lines going to
actually,
be? Hmm?
here I think you're actually, you know, if you're actually overlooking that not crossing the line is actually a future incentive as well.
That is true.
We don't
That is
want to,
true. That is
so
true.
that also.
I'm saying there are incentives which are going to be in contradiction with other incentives. At that point of time, on the
Hmm.
basis of what set of values does the AI make a decision?
You know, for example, in
Like
chess, let,
Asimov had these three rules of robotics, right? Robot shall not
uh,
harm a human, something like that. It was a value system for machines. I'm talking science fiction now, but you understand where
yeah,
I'm coming from.
for example, we see chess.
Hmm.
The stockfish or the robot is actually incentivized to take as many pawns or as many scores he can against the opponent.
Hmm.
But still, it doesn't mean that we can trap the AI by giving him more and more incentive.
Hmm.
It actually is far more superior, and the capacity or the intelligence of that being is gonna be much more higher than us. So it's gonna see all the iterations possible. So we can't say that it will just go for incentive. It will actually see the future as well.
A game of chess
But
is probably not the metaphor I want to use when I'm talking about an AI that might have serious control over our lives, human lives. Because in a
Yeah.
game of chess, even if the AI runs rampant and kills everyone and destroys everything and does things I don't want, there is no loss. It's a game. But when I'm talking about giving an AI control of how human society is run, what is going to be an acceptable sense of loss for an AI? What is going to be, as I said previously, the value system based on which the AI makes decisions?
Oh, even I'm not sure about that. But I'm
Yeah,
still
no,
asking myself, should I
we just
go
want,
on
yeah.
this?
Should you?
I'm still wondering, should I go on and actually make this kind of AI or not?
Are you capable of making this AI?
I mean, there are many different ways of creating an AI now. Deep learning, machine learning,
Hmm.
evolution, and
Hmm.
many more. If we actually combine all of them,
Hmm.
and if we actually combine all of them, there is a pretty much chance that we can actually create a
So I
childish
would
robot
say, okay,
now.
so you're obviously much smarter than I am, at least in this respect. So I would advise you to really deeply go into the ethics of it, study hard, and find out what the best minds in this area are saying about this. Because
Mm.
you know how Jurassic Park, you've seen Jurassic Park, the first movie?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was possible to do something, so they did it without thinking about what it changes in the very basic, like the later Jurassic Park movies, forget them. The first one, the message was this only: Ki just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to. I'm not saying you should
yeah.
not. I'm saying that your decision to do the thing should be based on more than we can do this.
Mm. Because the progress of technology is not linear; it's actually exponential. So if
Yeah.
we somehow created that, it's
Hmm.
gonna replicate itself so much more that we don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, yeah. And also,
Maybe
like,
it will just.
when radio came and television came, people had a long time to adjust to it. Chat GPT
Yeah.
was nowhere a couple of months ago. Sorry, a couple of years ago, and now it's everywhere, right? So the rate
Yeah.
of the our ability to adjust to this kind of technology is mind blowing. This is mind blowing in so many ways that it's not even funny. If someone had said now that one day AI will do something and we had like 30 years to get used to it, that would be a different matter altogether. But in a hurry, we have to come up with a set of rules that govern the conduct of the companies which are unleashing these softwares on the world. So that is also something to be taken into account. People's ability to adapt to it.
Yeah.
As you
I
said,
just want
it's
to make a last
exponential.
point.
Huh, go on.
For example, I want to make a last point that for a person to actually come or learn about or actually learn about a specific skill, for example, electrical engineering or computer science or programming,
Hmm.
it's going to be much more harder now since there is chat gpt and all these softwares.
Yeah.
For example, even now, if you start learning electrical engineering, the the pace of learning the electrical engineering was very much faster previous 20 or 30 years ago than it is now, because there are so
Hmm.
many smaller chips, and you just
Hmm.
told that, okay, add this chip into your you know add this chip into your circuit and it's gonna just
Module.
produce the
Hmm.
result, and we
Yeah.
don't know what's actually happening.
Hmm.
So there is going to be a lot more resistance for newcomers to actually get into this field.
Hmm.
That is also a very harmful potential of chat gpt and dali 2. If
Yeah.
I want to be a writer and artist now, instead of being a computer scientist, it's actually going to be much more harder for me, because I'm just
Hmm.
gonna take the easier path
Hmm.
and ask chat gpt to do so.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
It's gonna make
There's
much more
a
harder.
there's a short story written by E.M. Forrester, almost 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago. It was called The Machine, where the surface of the earth is no longer inhabitable and people live underground. In like there are tunnels and homes and everything is underground, and this entire system is governed by a machine. And the machine was built a long time ago when the underground habitats were built, and now the machine is smart, right? It was always
Yeah.
smart. The machine can repair itself. and the people who used to repair the machines are gone. Nobody learned that skill, and now
Hmm.
nobody knows what to do with the machine if it breaks, and therefore nobody even knows whether the machine is working correctly or not.
Yeah, that's a great problem.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm actually referring to. Yeah.
yeah. But thank you, Danish. Thank you for this fruitful
Thank you.
conversation. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night. That was Danish, our last caller for today. Sorry, I could not read a lot of comments. I think Taranga came at a certain point of time and said, "Hello, hi, Taranga." Then there is Parshuram who asks, "Hey, Vimo, what do you think of? What do you think of? What do you think? Does insulting and mocking God and anyone's belief just for fun is right or wrong, or what do you think?" No, I don't think it's useful. I wouldn't say I wouldn't frame it in the uh, dichotomy of right and wrong. I would say it is not useful. It depends on your goal. If your goal is to insult someone, sure, I suppose it works. But if your goal is to have a conversation with someone about religion and its importance or its ill effects on society, mocking them does not help, because then they won't talk to you. The goal is to talk to people. And if the only thing people do is mock and make memes and cartoons, then I have to say that you're not helping. Just stay out of my way. I actually want to talk to people. Uh, Purvesh says AI cannot make art like the movies of Tom Moore, as AI does not know the name of his art style. Yeah, I suppose, but I'm increasingly getting to a place where I am not confident when saying that AI can't do this, AI can't do that. Because I'll show you. Let me just share my screen and show you. This is a podcast, I know, but for the audio listeners, what I will do is that I will read out what Chat GPT gives me. Let's do some fun experiments. In the chat, let me know something that you think ChatGPT will not be able to do. I will start by asking ChatGPT to write a poem, maybe. What's a good topic to write a poem about? Let me just share my screen. Mm, chat. Right? Can you see this? Yes. So this is ChatGPT. Let me ask ChatGPT to write a poem about the sorrow one feels when they see an asteroid coming to hit the earth. Write a poem about the sorrow one feels when they see an asteroid coming to hit the earth. Let's see what ChatGPT does. I'll read out what the poem is, right? As ChatGPT is writing a poem. Asteroid, a rock of ancient birth, hurtling through the void of space, bringing with it certain death. As it makes its fateful race towards our planet blue and green, a collision now, it seems, the sorrow that we cannot hide as we face our own demise. The cities and the fields we have known will crumble, turn to dust and stone, our dreams and hopes forever gone in a fiery final blast. But still, we look up to the sky and wonder as we start to die how something so small could bring such pain and cause the end of all our gain. But in the end, what can we do but accept our fate and bid adieu to all the beauty that we have known as we face the asteroid's deadly tone? Now, admittedly, this is not very sophisticated. There are no hidden meanings here. It just wrote a poem about the thing that I asked it to write about. But you get the idea, right? A couple of years ago, I would not have thought an AI capable of writing poetry. So I don't know if we can say very confidently that an AI cannot do something. Um, Kaushal says, tell Chat GPT to quantize gravity. Even I don't know what that means. Let's see. Quantize gravity. ChatGPT is waiting. Quantizing gravity refers to the idea of describing the force of gravity as a quantum mechanical phenomenon rather than as a classical force. This is a topic of ongoing research in theoretical physics, and a complete and fully consistent theory of quantum gravity has not been yet developed. One of the main challenges in quantizing gravity, blah, blah, blah. So, this is not quantizing gravity, It is writing an article about why quantizing gravity is a research process that is ongoing. So I will not be reading that whole thing, but you get my point. Metagalaxy says, what is the name of this AI? Metagalaxy, this AI is called Chat GPT. You can Google it. You will find a website called Open AI. And on top, there will be a button called Try. So try it out. Anurag Kumar says, hey Vimo. Anurag Kumar says, hey Vimo, came on your stream after 3 weeks. आफ्टर 3 वीक्स पहली बार ऐसा बीमार पड़ा था कि हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट होना पड़ा. वहाँ पे मैंने कुछ पॉइंट्स के बारे में सोचा. विल कम ऑन योर नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम इफ पॉसिबल. श्योर, नेक्स्ट टाइम कम. Samarth says, ask ChatGPT to write about human rights abuses in Papua New Guinea by mining industry. It will. That's not going to be hard. Let me show you. Let me just copy. Samarth ka. Arey, how do I copy this? Human rights abuses in Papua New Guinea by mining industry, right? Let me just type it out. Write about human rights violations in Papua. This is what you want to read by mining corporations, by mining industry. Okay, let's just make it industry just to be on the safe side. ChatGPT writes, Papua New Guinea is a country rich in natural resources, including minerals and metals that are in high demand and around the world. However, the extraction and export of these resources has not always been done in a way that respects the right and well being of the people who call Papua New Guinea home. The mining industry, in particular, has been linked to various human rights violations, including, okay, so it's writing out a list of things. One of them is forced displacement. The next one is environmental degradation. The one after that is exploitation of workers, and it goes on and on. Lack of community consent is also a thing, and yeah, you get the idea. The funny thing is, even if you ask ChatGPT to write about something that has not actually happened, it will make shit up. It can. All it is doing is deciding which word should follow this word, and on the basis of that alone, it is capable of creating an entire articles. Someone says, wow, this is going to be my paper now for the course I'm taking. I would suggest double checking everything because it sometimes just makes shit up. Duvakin Anon says, ask the chat AI to break itself or state how to break a chat AI to get nonsense results. I once wrote into chat GPT something, and then I wrote, erase what you have written. And it said, I cannot erase what I have written. Ask ChatGPT, the Elon's capitalist power is good or bad. That's a good point. Let's see. Is Elon Musk's capitalist power good or bad? ChatGPT जी लिखते हैं, बहुत सोच रहा है. Okay, Elon Musk is highly successful and influential business person who has been involved in a number of ventures, including Tesla, SpaceX, and Solar City. As a capitalist, he has amassed significant wealth and power, and many people have different opinions on whether this is good or bad. Here are some perspectives that can be taken. Positive. Musk's ventures have been instrumental in advancing technology. Two, are his companies have created jobs. Three, his companies are pushing for more sustainable technologies. I'm just abbreviating what it is written, right? I'm not reading out the whole article because it's very long. Musk's work has also given consumers more options. Negative, Musk companies are not immune to criticisms and controversies such as accusations of labor practices and safety concerns. His approach to business and management has been viewed by some as controversial and has led to criticism of how he runs his companies. Some argue that his companies are only available for the wealthy and not accessible for the general public or people in need. And then so on and so forth. But yeah, it will write anything basically. My point of demonstrating all of this was that, and I'll close it now. 2 years ago, I would have thought all of this to be impossible. 1 year ago, I would have thought all of this to be impossible, but it's literally happening in front of my eyes. The bot has gotten that good. So I am really careful these days whenever someone asks me, "Do you think AI will ever do this?" I don't want to say no. I don't think AI can ever do this, because it seems likely to me that anything that I can think of as exclusively in the human domain, ChatGPT can do. As I talked about in my podcast with Vinayak, I think that a lot of things happen in the back end of the human brain when we are doing things. And even if those things are not happening in the back end of ChatGPT when it is doing those same things, it can still create a work that will be so close to what humans are doing that nobody will be able to tell the difference. If an AI wrote a story and you read it and you did not know that the AI had written that story, you might think that an actual human being wrote it. The only way, the only gap in all of this that I personally have been able to see is double meanings. Like you write something but you mean something else, and it is very clear to the human in front of you what you mean, even though you have not written it. That I have not seen ChatGPT do. Satire is perhaps the last remaining domain where AI will has not yet gone, and even there, I'm hesitant to say that AI will never get there. So that's my view on the matter. Right. So आज का लाइव स्ट्रीम यहाँ पे ख़त्म करते हैं. Let me just play the music as I say the last few things. This channel is run by an independent creator, that is me. And as you can see, AI is doing everything. Then you guys will abandon AI there. But until that happens, you can support this channel by clicking the join button below. And you can support me also by sending money on the live stream. But I suppose the live stream is ending. So what you can do is you can either become a member by clicking the join button, or you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Vimoh, or you can simply go to vimoh.stck.me. That's vimoh.stck.me, and you can make a donation of any amount of your choice, a one-time donation of any amount of your choice by clicking the support button. There is also my UPI handle, which is Vimoh at UPI, if you want to send money directly. You can also buy merch at kadakmerch.com/Vimoh Live. There are t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs available there. If you buy them, I get a little bit of money. That's also income. And then there is the website for the podcast at www.vimoh.in, where all the audio episodes are available, as well as all the apps on which the podcast is available, like Spotify, Google Podcast, Ghana.com, JioSaavn, etc. So appreciated. All of your support is appreciated, and I would not be able to do what I do had it not been for the support of people like you. And with that, we reach the end of today's show. This has been Wednesday, January 11, 2023. The next time I see you, it will be Saturday. By the way, I will remind everyone that I'm starting to do debunking videos on my main channel. So if you come across videos that you would like me to debunk, you can send them to me either here or in my email. My email address is vimoh@vimoh.in. That's vimoh@vimoh.in. You can just mail me videos, and if I find that I can debunk them, I'll make a debunk. You can go to my main channel, which is youtube.com/@vimoh, and you can find my latest 2 debunking videos. I mostly kind of, reacted to a couple of Instagram reels which were spreading some kind of superstition. So that's it. And with that, I will end today's episode. Thank you very much for joining, and I will see you on Saturday. Thank you, and please take care of yourselves. Good night.